Welcome to the weekend. This is the first ever episode of a new show from OddAlerts. I've called it the weekend because it can then be about the upcoming games or the games that we've just seen. So in this episode, it's obviously a Monday, so I'm going to be looking back at the Premier League action and just going over some of the big stories and the big moments of what it means for the players, the teams, potentially for the World Cup and stuff as well. Arsenal 3, Spurs 1. This is the running order, if you will. Liverpool's issues, Haaland and KDB. There's just no words for those two. What a joy that was. The green and gold. I dig into the data around the green and gold scarves, and this is actually really interesting. So stay tuned for that. The opportunity to work at OddAlerts. So I'm looking for people that are based in the UK for now. Will be potentially expanding in the future if this works. And you have to have a season ticket at your local club. So if you do, and you want to make a little bit of extra money every Saturday, then stay tuned for that bit and then hopefully get in touch. And finally, fantasy football. I'll be taking a look at the best performing teams on fantasy football, the best performing players, and then looking at my own team and where I can improve as well. We'll start with a bit of fun and Morelos with the knee-slide of the week. I've not seen any better than this in the past 7 days, that's for sure. Look at this. Beautiful. Helped by the Scottish weather conditions though. But we've got to talk about City. I don't think it's hyperbole to say that they're probably the best team I've ever seen in the Premier League. That's for sure. There's been different kind of teams, of course. I mean, I loved the Jose Mourinho Chelsea side at first, the Ancelotti Chelsea side as well. But this City team, man, they are something else. It's a machine. It's a fully working, beautiful system. When you looked at the midfield yesterday, how they move across, and they just didn't let Man United play. We're so fortunate to be able to watch them. Seriously, that's how I felt yesterday watching it. I was just thinking, when Haaland scored and he runs away, and the pass from De Bruyne, it's unplayable. It's a cheat code. You can't do anything about it. You can set up. Just think about it. If you're a football manager, how are you gonna stop City? How are you going to stop De Bruyne? You can press De Bruyne, he'll just slide it to Bernardo and then make a move and get it back. And I looked at the team yesterday. I'll be honest, and I think a few others did as well that I was speaking to, and just a general consensus. I think there was a little bit of doubt in people's mind. Not that City wouldn't win, but just that without Rodri, without Stones, without Diaz, those three players are part of the spine. They make up, if everybody's fit, and Ake's been playing well, Ake or Stones, but Stones is probably the one this season so far. But it doesn't matter. And Akanji as well, he's a great player, and they got him for 11 million, and he loves to bring the ball into midfield as much as Stones does. He just slots in, and the same's true with Ake. I mean, Ake's had a few iffy moments for City in his City career, but maybe he just needed a run of games because he was fantastic yesterday. I'll talk about Man United for a little bit. As I said, they weren't allowed to play. Rashford had 4 passes in the first half. Ederson had 33 passes. Just as a comparison, I think Akinje was top with about 42. I looked at that at half time, and I think the only player in the top 5 for Man United was Martinez, the centre back. But yeah, the two centre backs and the keeper for City, they're always sort of top of the pile. Rodri, I think, is the top of the pile in the Premier League at the moment, which when you see them play, you can see why. They start from the back, and if there's nothing on, they're patient as well. When they're 1 or 2-0 up, they're patient. They slow it down. They did that yesterday in the first half and still managed to get another couple of goals. Incredible. And Haaland is just a monster. I mean, we're running out of words to describe him that we're going to words like monster, machine, robot, alien, freak. He's just incredible. And when you've got someone like De Bruyne and Grealish and Foden and Mahrez, and Gundogan, it's very, very hard to stop. It's incredibly hard to stop. I think Man United's slightly unlucky with the goal, actually, with Haaland's goal from the header, because Varane, I don't think they should have stopped the game because it was a leg injury. Looked like a pretty painful one as well. I've had one of them. His leg was in the air and the ball hit his ankle and jolted his whole knee area. They are very painful. So, and then obviously the resulting corner, he wasn't on the pitch. Eriksen was marking Haaland. You would think Varane would mark Haaland. You would hope so. I mean, he's the tallest player in the Man United defence, so why not? The commentary teams say it's men against boys when Haaland makes that run. It doesn't matter who you are, really, unless you've got the height to match him, but he's got the momentum, he's got the power, and his movement, which, if you don't have the movement, having the height and the power and everything else doesn't always matter, because you need that movement, you need that momentum, and he's so good at just making those quick movements, losing defenders, and then going into another space where, you know, you feel sorry for the defender because he just appears behind you and you're just thinking, no chance. I want to know in the comments how many Premier League goals do you think Haaland will get, and how many hat-tricks this season as well. He's got 3 already. 3 in 3 home games. He's just incredible. I mean, barring an injury, you have to think he's going to be close to breaking the record. Is it 34 for a 38-game season? You've got to remember with Haaland, and this is a very scary thought, especially for Premier League defenders, he's not going to the World Cup. He's not going to the World Cup. So when all these elite defenders are out there playing very intense international football and then coming back to play another 19 games in the Premier League, he will be on a beach somewhere and having a kind of mini pre-season again, which he doesn't need. He is just in the form of his life, playing in a team that is built around him and will be continued to be built around him for the next few years, and that is a very scary thought. I mean, I felt just fortunate as a neutral. Obviously, Man United fans, Liverpool fans, any rival fans won't feel this, but watching De Bruyne and Haaland establish and grow that relationship in live now whilst we can is incredible, really. I think we're watching history in the making. Obviously, to be considered the greatest team in history, you need to win that Champions League. But they're not in a bad shape to do it, are they? They're setting themselves up quite well to at least compete in the Champions League. But in terms of the Premier League, I think they're the best team I've ever seen. Will the green and gold scarves come out again at Old Trafford? I don't think it should be based on this game ever, because I mean, you're playing against Manchester City. Joking aside, I mean, look at this chart. This is an interesting chart that relates to this kind of, do United protest when they've had bad results? So if we look at the data here, this is Google Trends, so you can type in a search topic and you can track it over time, how many people are searching for it. When there's a flat line here like there is, it's never a flat line. Of course, people are going to be searching for it, but not enough to generate a trend based on previous searches in the past. So we can see that there was a spike in October 2021, then very, very little until early 2022. So what happened there? Was that when Solskjaer got sacked? I think it was, wasn't it? And then across 2022, there is little bits of spikes, right? And if you think back, that's Rangnick didn't do too bad at first, and people thought, okay, there's a plan here. You know, this guy's going to steady the ship and put a whole kind of scouting network in place. And it didn't really work out like that. And I think people started to realise that around there, right? So it is interesting to see. Now, it flatlines again. Erik ten Hag is appointed, but then it spikes massively. Why is that? Well, this is August, September time, so that is because Man United lost the first 2 games of the season and just looked terrible, didn't they? Brighton and Brentford conceding 4 against Brentford. But now the chart goes all the way down, and that's because Man United have seemingly turned it around. So come back here in a month, and if there's a little spike after this Man City game, I guess that shows that the green and gold scarves do come out after a defeat. And I'm sure there are Man United fans out there that are waving those green and gold scarves every home game, and that needs to be, this trend needs to be at a steady level. It needs to be a consistent thing. You can't just do it when you lose. It's not a good look, really. So will the green and gold scarves come out after this humiliating defeat to Man City? Maybe. This was a strange thing for Ten Hag to say, I think. He said that he didn't bring Ronaldo on out of respect for his big career. I don't understand that. Try and tell Ronaldo that. See, what's Ronaldo's response going to be to that? I think Ten Hag, for the most part, what he's said in the media, what he's done so far, it's been great. He's, for Man United fans, they will feel that he's putting his foot down. He's getting a bit of identity back in the club. But that comment's just a bit weird. I think in this game in general, I think he should take a bit of responsibility, a lot of responsibility. The main thing for me when I looked at the teams was why is Casemiro not playing? Why is he not starting? I don't believe it would have been 4-0 at half-time, because him and Varane, together they would just, actually let's try and settle here. I know it's easier said than done at City, but surely with Casemiro, he's won the Champions League 5 times, surely with him on the pitch you stand a better chance at just, if you're looking to counter, and you're looking to counter, well, Casemiro can intercept, he can tackle in very good areas for you to go forward. Man United didn't get the ball out of their own half. The passing was so bad. Fernandes and Eriksen really, really poor, but they kind of don't play together. I think that's what they need to work on, really, is that Fernandes and Eriksen seem to be on other sides of the pitch, never really linking up directly. It doesn't feel like it anyway. And yesterday it's an easy comparison, because you look at Bernardo and Foden and how they link up with those wide players and how they link up with those fullbacks as well, and how the fullbacks come in and they all link up together. It just works. It's a beautiful ticking system, whereas Manchester United is not. But it's not helped by not playing your best players. Ronaldo is a debatable one. I get it. He might not be the best player for the way Ten Hag wants to play in that game, but I think Ten Hag played the wrong way in that game. You have to be incredibly good at getting the ball out of your defence when you get it. When you intercept it, that first pass has got to be on point. And Man United are just looking a bit disjointed still with that Fernandes and Eriksen midfield. McTominay's not good enough. He has good games, right? He has good games where he plays well. In a game where there's a lot of space in that midfield and he's allowed to kind of play well. In the big games, if you could pick Casemiro or McTominay, the answer is not a difficult one, is it really? I think that's the one big error, especially with Rodri not playing yesterday. Not a chance to win that midfield, but a chance to sort of chip away at City's midfield a little bit. With McTominay in there and Eriksen and Fernandes playing so far apart, as I mentioned, United never stood a chance. An impressive victory, important victory for Arteta as well, against Tottenham. North London derby kicked us off. That man in the picture, Jesus, what a player. What a player. He's a joy to watch. When he plays like that, his little touches, his little flicks around the corner, playing centrally just works for him. He's really good. He's a great number 9, because we know he can drop deep, but he's in and around the box when he needs to be as well. He's a bit of everything up there. And it goes without saying what a great signing, what a double signing it was to get Zinchenko in as well. There's just little moments of class with Zinchenko on the pitch. There was a moment, I think it was about 20 minutes in, a little bit of pressure. Richarlison looks like he's gonna, nick in and get the ball, and Zinchenko just fake passes it back to the keeper and then knocks it the other way without even breaking a sweat. Just pure class. Little moments like that. For Tottenham, I think he needs to find his best team, doesn't he? And I think that a part of that best team does not include Emerson Royal. There was a few stories going around in the week that he spent nearly $1 million, I think it was, on personal development in terms of becoming a better footballer. I love that. I love the mentality, but I mean, it's not. Have you got a receipt? Because it is a red card. It's a red card. I've seen people on Twitter saying, well, it's not. This wasn't a red card, but this is a red card, showing a Pogba tackle or what was the other one? A Fernandes tackle or the Fabinho tackle. They're all red cards as well. So showing them doesn't make this one not a red card or something. It's down the ankle. It's nasty, and more importantly for Tottenham and for Conte, he was going towards his own goal. So it's just stupidity. I don't think Tottenham would have won, but they obviously had a game plan to keep it tight, and they scored again, Arsenal, after the red card and whilst Conte was making changes on the side of the pitch. They scored in absolutely the right times in this game to just not let Tottenham grow into the game at all. And after the red card, Conte actually kind of conceded defeat. He took off Son and Richarlison, just left Kane on there. Bentancur was the highest person up with Kane at times, making those runs. which says all you need to say. Tottenham had 29 dangerous attacks in the whole game compared to Arsenal's 99. Possession 65 to 35, obviously in Arsenal's favour. And the average pressure from the pressure index on OddAlerts was 71%. That's very high. But of course, it's because of the red card. Possession, I think, would have always been like that. But when you've got 11 versus 11, it's a different game, isn't it? Tottenham are kind of happy to stay compact and then play out into Son, into Kane, into Richarlison. And there was a few moments for Tottenham. I think they got the penalty with a bit of, again, just rashness. And I think Gabriel's got that in him. He's a good defender, very strong, in terms of his aerial duels and stuff. And if he's in a race with someone, he's not going to be beaten most of the time. But there's still moments like that in him that I think he needs to just shake out of him. But the lad next to him, Saliba, what a player he is. He reminds me of Rio. The way he kind of glides across and just effortlessly deals with stuff. He's going to be some player, and I think the biggest clubs in the world will come in for him. So it's important that Arsenal tie him down to that long-term contract. Another poor result for Liverpool. It'll feel like a defeat, this one, especially having come back to lead after Brighton took a 2-0 lead. Just got to say, straight away, Brighton was superb. I watched most of this game. I was flicking between this one and the Chelsea one. And Brighton were just so confident, as they were at Man United as well. De Zerbi coming in looks a good appointment, but this is Potter's team. It's a rare case of a manager coming into a team that is full of players that are already confident and playing well. This is a great point for Brighton. But for Liverpool, 2 wins in the Premier League now, all season, 4 draws, and just 1 defeat, which is actually quite interesting, isn't it, when you think of the crisis that they're in. Defensively is the issue. Players just, I don't know, acting out. I mean, Van Dijk, the ball goes through him for the 3rd goal. It just goes through him, and you've got players falling over, you've got players out of position. And I've watched Liverpool a few times this season, and it's the same thing. The problems are coming from midfield, where they lose the ball. Thiago played this game, so most people will just default to, well, Thiago's got to play. Thiago played, and I'm just looking at the pressure monitor. You can see that Brighton scored early on, kind of the same thing that happened against Man United, and then there was a bit of pressure in where Liverpool scored 3 goals. But then Brighton, when they go forward, they're very good at not losing the ball, and they never waste a pass. The touch and control of Welbeck, who again was fantastic in holding the ball up and just keeping Brighton in Liverpool's half. It goes under the radar, I think, but he rarely loses the ball, and he gets across the whole defence. He'll pop up on the right corner one moment, and then the next phase of play he's over on the other side of the pitch, linking up with Trossard or something, who obviously hat-trick, very well done to him. I don't think he was the best player for Brighton. I think Webster and Dunk were great again. Webster really confident on the ball, actually. So yeah, well played to Brighton. It's a great result for them, but for Liverpool, more problems. Is it time that Calvin Ramsey was given a game at Liverpool, signed from Aberdeen in June of this year? I'm just going to play some clips of him now as I talk, and I'd not seen much of him before these clips, but he looks like a good player. He looks like somebody that could fit in as a right back, and then I think give Trent a go in midfield. I think Trent, Klopp's been talking up Ramsey, by the way. It's not as if I'm just going off nothing. Klopp has been really bigging up this kid. He's still 19, so you've got to manage his time and expectation and everything, but just give him a chance. I think if you've got some games coming up, just throw him in there, Champions League or something, and see what happens. I think Champions League, Liverpool can still qualify even if it goes drastically wrong. But it's kind of how Trent got his start in Liverpool, and he's never looked back as well. Sometimes you just got to put a young lad in there, but it could be a way to move Trent into midfield. Klopp talked about the pressing qualities of Trent when he was asked about why he didn't play for England and stuff like that, and he's saying, well, we play a different way. Trent has to be up there, he's pressing, and that's why he gets caught out. Well, if Trent's great at pressing and passing when he gets the ball, and his delivery and everything is incredible, but he still has some defensive qualities, then why not try him as a holding midfielder? Or why not play a double pivot with even try Fabinho and Trent and then put Thiago in front of them. Just see what happens. I think Klopp's at a point now where you've got to try something else. I think he does have loyalty. I've seen a few Liverpool fans talking about this. He's got loyalty to certain players, Henderson being one of them. Milner, a strange one, really. He brings off Tomiskas for Milner in like the 60th minute or something, and they just start attacking down that side where Milner is, as you would. I get it that, the Champions League's coming up, Robertson's still injured, but it seemed like a weird decision to make. So I think Klopp's got to shuffle the pack a little bit, and Ramsey, he has had a knock, he has been injured, but I think it won't be long until we see this kid in the Liverpool team as right back. This is the highest scoring team on fantasy football for game week 8 so far, because I say that because he's got Vestergaard, who won't play. I'd be very surprised if Vestergaard plays for Leicester. He hasn't played any minutes. I think he was one of the cheapest defenders. He's got Fofana on the bench. Maybe he's not swapped them out or something. But he is doing his team because he's played his triple captain. And his triple captain was Haaland, which has contributed massively towards the 145 points. He had Foden and Trossard as well. So he's got a really good team. Luis Diaz on another week. I mean, Diaz would have got more than 4 points. He started on the bench, didn't he? And let's take a look at my team. Let's see what the damage is. 64 points, so I'm bang on the average. And Diaz was my mistake. I put him captain. I thought home game, he's going to play. And then I looked at the press conference before, and Klopp was like, well, he's not had a training session. So Carvalho started, but Diaz came on, and I think he got an assist, didn't he? That's why he's got 4 points. De Bruyne on 8. I mean, if you got points for just being unreal in the whole game, De Bruyne would get more points every week, but that's not how it works, unfortunately. Damsgaard, if anybody's been watching the OddAlerts content for the past few months, I've been talking up Damsgaard for weeks and weeks, and this was his first start, and he got 3 points, and I think he will come good. He's a good player, but Brentford at the moment, they're not, 0-0, wasn't it, away at Bournemouth. Fair play to Bournemouth. Since Scott Parker's gone, and since Neto's gone in net as well, they haven't lost since Neto has gone in the Neto. Martinelli with 4, could have been more that. I think he had a good chance, and Haaland with 23, and it's clear that my mistake was not captaining Haaland. I think he's going to be my captain forever now. Just he gets a break as well when everyone's at the World Cup, so he's going to be fresh. Future changes, I'm not sure at this moment in time. Looking at it, I've not looked at the fixtures yet. We've still got Leicester to play, haven't we, tonight, as I record this. Chilwell, I thought might be a good person to bring in. He was just a quick swap, as one of my other defenders was injured. But Chilwell might have to go because it's a bit of a tricky one. It's not a guarantee with Cucurella coming back. He's got an existing relationship with Potter. So Potter knows that he can get what he wants out of Cucurella with Ben Chilwell, whilst I think Chilwell is a great player, and if he is given the time with Potter, I think he'll flourish. I think there's a way that you could get both of those players in there as well. If you play one of them as a left centre-back, probably Cucurella, I would, because he's very good at passing, but he's also good at getting down that left. So I think it's an unfortunate situation for whoever misses out, but for that reason, as they say on Dragon's Den, I'm out in terms of picking Chilwell or Cucurella. So Chilwell will probably be the next person to leave my squad. Perisic is probably on the brink as well, and we'll have to have a look at Gibbs White because he didn't play. We've got Costa on the bench. He was always, I brought him in a few weeks ago just to have him because I think if he gets up to speed, and obviously depends on who the new manager is going to be, because Bruno Lage was sacked last night. Might have gone under the radar because it happened during the Manchester derby or just before the Manchester derby. I don't know who they're going to get in. Pochettino's available, Tuchel's available. That'd be an interesting one, wouldn't it, given the players that are in that squad. You could see them getting an elite manager, and that's not disrespect to the former Wolves managers, but you could see them having a bit of pull with who they go for next. So let me know what you're thinking in terms of fantasy for the next game week 9. We've only got a few more game weeks, have we? About a month and a bit until the World Cup. So how are you going to use your wild card? Are you going to use it before the World Cup? I think you get another one after the World Cup, don't you? So it might be an idea to use it before you sort of let it expire. I've not used any of my tokens or whatever they're called, the triple sub or triple captain, sorry, and my mind just went absolutely blank then. I've not used any of those chips yet, so we'll see. I've gone down to 44th in the OddAlerts League. I was 29th, and there's been no movement at the top, so congratulations to those two who are joint top. On to game week 9. I would like to send football fans around the country to stadiums to get post-match reactions from fans. So if you are a football fan and you've got a season ticket, that's perfect. You can do this. And I will pay you to do this. Take your iPhone, I'll send you a microphone, I'll buy you a microphone, you can plug it in, and just go after the game and talk to some fans. What did you think of this? What did you think of that player? How do you think you'll do in the next game against XYZ? And these will be featured on OddAlerts TV, which launched recently. OddAlerts TV is, I like to call it YouTube, but for football. So all of the latest football videos are on there from all teams in England and the major leagues at the minute. I'm going to try and expand it as much as I can, but I've got to be cautious of getting it right before I expand and scale it. So I'm just testing it with the English teams and the major leagues, Liga and MLS, Serie A, Bundesliga. So if you go on there, you can watch all the highlights, interviews, fan content, opinion pieces as well. But I want to add to the content. I want OddAlerts to have its own content. And this video and the preview shows and stuff that I've been doing, they are part of that. But I also want to have fan content from real fans outside the grounds every week. So if I can get a small team of people that I know have got season tickets at certain clubs, I can pay them every week to go and record opinions from a few fans outside the ground. And then when all that content comes back on the Saturday night, Sunday morning, whenever, then the next day being able to see all that and digest it in one place where you're not being dragged away like YouTube. They're not trying to get you to watch another video. You can just explore football video without interference, without adverts. When you click on the video and there's a pop-up, and no, there's none of that on OddAlerts TV, because it's just about football video. That's it. It's going to do football video very well, and that's it. That's its whole aim. And I can do that because I don't need it to make money. It doesn't need to make money because OddAlerts makes money in other ways. So I can offer this as a part of OddAlerts and create something good that I don't think exists because of the business models of those other websites. The football highlights websites, they're powered by adverts, they're powered by clicks on the actual play button that, as I say, opens a random website, which is not a good experience. It's not going to have you coming back. So that's OddAlerts TV. Check it out if you're not sure what it is. If you think you could do this, if you go to a football match with your mates every week, and whilst you're in the pub, you can just record you and your mates talking about the game and get paid for it. If you want to do that, then just comment on this video, or email me, or get in touch on Twitter at OddAlerts. I'll get you set up. As I say, I'll send you a microphone or any equipment that you might not have. I can't send you an iPhone, obviously. I'm just hoping that somebody has a smartphone or a phone with a decent camera, which most do have in this day and age. And we'll see what kind of content we get back. If it looks like we need to buy the people kind of light or something, or some equipment, then I'll do it. It's something I want to do. I want to create this. I want it to be on OddAlerts TV, and I'm excited to go forward. And if you are interested, as I say, just get in touch and we'll get started. Enjoy this. If you've got any feedback, please let me know on Discord or on Twitter, wherever you're watching this video. Just comment, let me know what you like, what you want to see more of. If there's something you want me to cover, then I will. I think as I produce these, I'll find out myself what I enjoy talking about more as well. So I think the preview show will be more of a betting focused show. I'll try and get a few bets in there, find some interesting teams to preview, and put it out on a Thursday or Friday. I think with the Champions League and stuff, it's going to be a bit too much for me to do at first, because I've also got to, I also work on OddAlerts every day, and improving the website. So just stay tuned, and as always, I'm excited to hear your feedback, and enjoy the show.